Brian, back here live at the Ford Fieldhouse right now. The celebration is underway about the Challenge Scholars. A major announcement talking about a $26 million raised by the Grand Rapids Community Foundation to help kids go to college for free from Union High School. It is called the Challenge Scholars Program. We've been talking about it now. We told you about it yesterday. We've been talking about it this evening. It is for students who attend Harrison Park Elementary and Westwood Middle, and then they have to go on to graduate from Union High School. So it's a very exciting day for those kids. Each year, about 200 students will get a chance to go to a Michigan college free of charge because of this program. It's expected to cost about $2 million a year to have this whole thing work.
Half the battle is to believe that these children can do it, to set high expectations, and then to give them the support. And that's what we're doing with this.
Wow. Now, this is for students that graduate in the year 2020 and then all of the graduating classes after that. So, of course, when you hear about this program, you may think of the Kalamazoo Promise. It's a similar program. It's put kids through school for nearly a decade now for free. I'm joined with Susan Samples right now to talk more about that. There are some similarities. There are some differences. Of course, Kalamazoo Promise being district-wide, this one being really just through Union High School at this point.
We wanted to look specifically at what the Kalamazoo Promise, how it has impacted Kalamazoo so far, to see what we can learn about what we might be seeing in Grand Rapids, even though it's on such a much smaller scale. Kalamazoo has not seen a measurable impact on its overall economy in terms of the jobs, housing market, but it has seen a big impact on enrollment in Kalamazoo.
Grand Rapids Public Schools and the community foundation, but central to all.
The Kalamazoo Promise is putting Kyosha Blaylock through Michigan State.
It's made a big difference.
She was lucky, had just moved into the Kalamazoo district when the promise was announced. Since then, a lot of other students have followed.
The single biggest impact of the Kalamazoo Promise has been to reverse decades of declining enrollment in the Kalamazoo public schools.
In the 8.5 years since the promise launched, enrollment in KPS has jumped 22%, from 10,200 to 12,500. In the same time period, Grand Rapids enrollment has dropped by the same percentage, 22%, going from 20,500 students down to around 16,000. Michelle Miller-Adams, who's researched and written about the promise, says it has attracted and retained more students to Kalamazoo schools, which of course means more funding from the state.
It's allowed the district to maintain and expand a lot of the programs, particularly those programs that help prepare kids for college. So we've seen a large expansion of advanced placement programs, college readiness programs.
The promise has helped significantly.
Blaylock says the promise changed student behavior too.
I noticed that a lot of the students that weren't trying started trying after they found out about the promise.
As for how the Promise students are doing in college, 80% of those who go on to universities are staying for at least 4 years, we're told. And of the kids who are going to community college, they've seen a 20% increase in their grades since Kalamazoo Promise launched. So they're starting to see some great results there, and we're so excited to see what happens here in Grand Rapids with this announcement today.
Right. With the public schools here in Grand Rapids, they can certainly focus on what's going on right with the Kalamazoo Promise and then take some of those things and put them into play here to make it a success.
They are benefiting from Kalamazoo's experience.
And hopefully spread it district-wide, too. Yeah, Susan, thank you very much. And our coverage continues online, too. You can get everything that you need to know about the Challenge Scholars Program in the Grand Rapids Public School District right now at woodtv.com. Back to you, Brian.